Okay, I'm going to call the regular meeting to order. It's 7:31 p.m. Our first order of business tonight is to approve the minutes of the mayor and council meetings of March 6th, 2017.
I would move that we approve the mayor and council meetings from March the 6th, 2017, as submitted.
I'll second so long as...
I changed that one.
Did you change your
I absolutely did.
gender reference? It's apparently a little off.
Mr. Gross, do you have something to say?
Okay, there's a second. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, let the record show we unanimously approve the minutes. Operating funds on hand, total operating cash on hand is $1,495,991.62. Within that fund, we have the armory balance for waterfront activities of $180,480. And in a separate account for the Broad Reach donations, we currently have a balance of $37,761.19. The third order of business is the payment of the bills.
Move to pay the bills.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Let the record show we unanimously agreed to pay the bills. We're moving right along. Number 4, police report. Chief Baker. We are.
7:32 and you're up.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to present the February 2017 police statistics. For the month of February 2017, we had 10 hours in administration. We had 29 in criminal investigations. Accident investigations were 16. We had 796 hours of vehicle patrol. And we had 118 hours of foot patrol, 120 for training. Court was 15 hours and 166 in overtime.
Can I ask a question before you get
Yes, you can.
past
Yes,
that?
sir.
2 questions, as a matter of fact. Your administration, that does not count your hours.
Yes, sir.
I would hope you work more than 10 hours.
Yes, sir. That does not count
For
mine.
2 weeks.
Correct.
And a month. And what happened to our percentages?
I just changed that because it was kind of irrelevant since I didn't have a total hours submitted there. I can add that if you'd like it.
It's a little over 10%, Marty.
Yeah, it taxes poor Liz doing these percentages.
Or, or if you like, would you like me to do the foot patrol and the overtime in percentages?
Yeah.
Is that really what you're interested in?
Well, I like to see it above 10%. I'd love to see it 15 or 20.
What I'm asking, sir, is do you want the percentages for all those activities, or would you be satisfied with the foot patrol and the overtime only? Okay, so we had 8 adult arrests, and we had 23 separate charges. Those charges were 7 DWI, 6 were animal cruelty, 2 each for assault, harassment, and theft, and we had 1 ex parte, 1 FTA, 1 reckless endangerment, and 1 telephone misuse. We had 1 juvenile arrest, and that resulted in 4 charges for assault. Our Part 1s were 7. We cleared 4 by arrest. Our Part 2s were 14, and we cleared 8 by arrest and 2 by exception. And we had 24 motor vehicle citations, 240 motor vehicle warnings, and 289 on the red speed. Again, this seems to be trending down a little bit, but we should bear in mind that February was a short month, and it's not as late out as well.
Can I ask a question before we leave this page? The 6 animal cruelty.
Yeah, I know.
Is that one person with 6 animals?
Yeah,
or?
I think it was one person with 6 charges. Yes, ma'am.
And also 1 juvenile arrest resulting in 4 assault charges?
Yes.
Oh.
We had 2 civil citations. One was for CDS and one was for noise. Our calls for service, we had 11 in Ward 1, 89 in Ward 2, 89 in Ward 3, 101 in Ward 4, and we had 16 outside the jurisdiction. On Wednesday, we had our most calls, averaging out. Wednesday was the busiest day of the week. And our busiest time was 12 to 1. Overtime, we had 99 hours in manpower, and that is explained in a minute, but we are 1 position down. Actually, we're 3 positions down, but 1 that month. Court was 20, training was 18 and 19, on extending investigations. Kind of in keeping with the new format, a couple things to cover. This past month, we have had at least probably 5 people call us about phone calls they've received from the power company. In fact, they even specifically say, this is Delmarva Power. We've noticed your bill is overdue. If you don't send us $700 or whatever they say by MoneyGram, and then they'll put a real short time on it. By 4 o'clock this afternoon, your power is going to be cut off. So be mindful of that. If it doesn't make sense, it doesn't make sense. So, try to pass the word, don't fall for that. Like I said, we had one officer leave. That was Officer Mike Bomer. He's been with us for about 6 years actually. He left to take another job, but we did hire Sam Kinzer, who will have to go through field training, and then he will take his place. That still leaves us with an officer who's on active duty, and then we have one other position to fill. That's why we had the overtime that we did.
So that manpower designation, which I don't recall seeing very often before, is the shift coverage for the missing staff?
Yeah, and I've called it shift coverage
Okay.
before, so I
All right,
probably
okay.
I did tell you that I was working on a pay scale. I reviewed that with Bill, I think it was yesterday. And so I will now contact you by email and just kind of go over that. I think it'll make more sense one-on-one. We can see what you guys think about that. But I used Marty's suggestion, and it's kind of like 2 parts. One is that you get a step, and that, when we used Bill's description, I thought that was really good. Kind of like you're on the conveyor belt, and you get a step each year. And then part 2 will be based on evaluations, and that will be, you have to get a satisfactory evaluation to get that. So we'll discuss that more in detail when we can. And then lastly, we had a unique case in the beginning of the month. I don't often share arrest photos, but we had a trespassing case that occurred downtown. We did apprehend the suspect. I thought you might like to see a picture. That concludes my report.
Maybe we should pass it over to the press.
Chief,
Yes, sir.
in earlier in the month through mid-month, there were a lot of reports of suspicious vehicles and suspicious situations on Hilltop and then Devon and Mayfair.
Yes.
Was that all, was that all one thing, or was that just a series of suspicious people / situations / vehicles? What caused that?
Yeah, to the best of my recollection, and I would like to check to be certain, but I think that was, these are caller generated, of course, and I think it was pretty much the same reoccurring incident or concern from different people.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay?
And I'm assuming that's been taken care of
Yes, sir.
since?
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Okay, item 5 on the agenda is David Stark, plaque at Memorial Park. Take 3.
And they gave her to me to keep it.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I really do exist. I apologize for not showing up the first 2 times.
No problem.
My mistake.
That's it.
I'm here. I'm here tonight to ask the council to consider adding 5 names to the Vietnam Memorial Monument down over in the Memorial Park. The 5 names are Kent County residents who were killed in Vietnam. And I have pretty much a picture of what that would look like. It is the same size as the one that's there now that has the sponsors on it. That's on the World War I side. The design would be the same, it'd be bronze, and only the 5 names would be on that. And it would be placed at the foot of the Vietnam side. It would look similar, or very close to the one that's there. Anyhow, I have enough copies here we can send, you'll take a look at these. That was helped by Newton help me come up with that. And
Are these names that came about from somebody doing more research on this, or that families brought it to your attention? How did this happen?
the way this came about was last May. Some of you may remember there was an honors tour at the American Legion, Post 36, conducted, I can't remember the date in May, a couple weeks before Memorial Day, where we traveled to each one of these grave sites and honored each veteran, each person, each soldier. Because it was honoring, it was in observance of the 50th anniversary of the observance of the Vietnam War. So through that, it all came to light. Got to talking about it, and it was nice to have these 5 names there at the memorial, the Vietnam Memorial. So I've kind of, it's taken a while to get around to that, but I've been after it since then and working on it. And I've come down to this point where we have a plan, and I just wanted to ask if that's possible, if the council would consider that.
Has this been run by the families, like they're happy with how this appears?
No, I have not ran that by the families.
No, they're not happy, or no, you haven't ran it by them?
No, I have not talked to the families about it.
Even if they were still all here. But what concerns me the most is, are we 100% certain that these are the only 5? I'm struck by how relatively early in the war those deaths are, all 67, 68, 69, and the war went on till 75. Are we sure that we've captured everyone here?
This is Kent County. Betterton is not in town. The one gentleman's from Betterton.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that the dates are all very early in the war. And are we 100% sure before we put money into creating a plaque that we've got everyone who should be
I'm
honored?
not asking for the town to put...
I know you're not, but
Yeah, I
we want to
understand what you're
approve
saying. And I
a
agree.
good job.
Right.
Are we sure that we have everyone who actually died in Vietnam from Kent County in that list of 5 names? Because what if somebody comes along and says, well, there's a memorial there, and my son died in 1973? How do we know that we have the full list?
As far as I know, these are the 5. The research was done before we did the honors tour back in May. And no one has come up since then, and we're pretty certain these are only 5.
The Kent County News was...
I was about to ask Peter.
Right.
No, Peter, could you run those?
I can,
Well, the National Archives have to have this.
I can try to see what's in the news. The news wouldn't necessarily have everything, but I mean,
Well, they would have surely stories or obituaries on people who died in Vietnam.
you'd think so, you'd be surprised some of the stuff.
Really?
I can certainly...
I'm just concerned because they're all so early. They're all within, well, 65, 69, 68, 67, 67. And we didn't get out of there until 75.
David will give me his contact information. I'll run a search and see if I find anybody that's not among the list.
Okay.
If you can give me the name.
I appreciate your concern. I think it's, I mean, I'm fairly certain we have it right.
Right.
But I understand, and I think it's good
That we
Yeah,
have.
so everybody knows that the Four Wars Monument has no names on it. And having this mounted on the ground at a beveled sort of angle, it's correctable. In other words, they could make another plaque if somehow somebody that we didn't know about, or someone who actually lived here moved away and said, hey, wait a minute, I was still a legal resident. So getting the most word out, I think it's important, but this is fixable, not like us doing it on the marble, and I think that's
true.
That's the point of this bronze plaque. It could be added to, it could be recast.
Right.
And you guys are funding it, and I think it's an easy thing to do. I think about what if other people say, hey, well, what did you do for Korea?
Yeah.
What did you do for World War I and II? And they come up with bunches of names. I think those plaques would be enough size to put not as much information, but lots and lots of names. Hopefully, we couldn't fill one, but I think once the idea is out there, people are going to go, oh my gosh, my uncle died in World War II.
Right.
So there's room for that. So that could be done.
I like the idea of honoring individuals, but I want to be sure that we got them all who deserve the honor. And if, it's a four wars monument, right? So you could have a plaque on each corner, right?
All the way around.
So we should be sure not to place this in the middle.
No, they would place it underneath the Vietnam side.
Okay, I have
And
to
if
go and look.
the same thing came up for Korean veterans, we'd put it under the Korean War side.
That's a good point as far as looking at World War II, World War I, and Korea. Because the same thing could be done for them.
Right.
Our research is, the research that I'm familiar with, that my friend has done up till now on World War II, was over 30 in World War II.
Right.
And 5 in Korea. And World War I, we didn't go that far. So, yeah, I mean, if it came to that, 30 names are on that original plaque. There's 30, I think it's 30, very close to that on the sponsor's plaque, which is the same size. You wouldn't be able to put all the information if it came to World War II. Or World War II, but you still did give up names on it.
Names, yeah.
If it came to that. And down the road, it probably should be done. Or
Or
looked at.
it might or it might not, but I mean, I think
Yeah.
this effort,
It's really good.
very good.
Yeah.
I think,
20
I don't know
years.
if I speak for the council, but I think we're definitely on board with the concept. I would suggest maybe running this by the family members just to make sure that
Okay.
they're all right with how it looks to them. And before we act, we may want to wait another couple weeks to see if any other names surface.
Sure. Yep. They've been since last May working on this, so.
Yeah.
Another,
Thank you.
Right.
as long as we're thoroughly all
Do we
happy about it.
need to make any kind of formal motion?
No, you could say that, subject to them getting all the information, that mounting a plaque underneath the All Wars Monument is fine.
Why don't we make a motion for the record? I can't make it, right?
I'll make a motion. I'll make a motion that we approve the plaque as submitted, pending verification of the information that's presented to us now, and go ahead with it.
Approval of the families.
Right.
Okay, is there a second?
Does anybody- Does you want it?
All those in favor? Any opposed? All right, we unanimously approve the plaque. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
You need this back, Dave?
David, would you give one to Peter? So, oh, you got one, so he could, if he wants to use the names in the paper.
Okay, so we're going to do something revolutionary here. We're going to preempt the town manager's report with the mayor's report. The item under my report is a proclamation paying tribute to the workers who helped make the country and the community what it is today and recognizing Sumner Hall. And basically, I have this proclamation I will read, but does anybody want to say anything? And there's like for those of you who can't see, there's like kind of a packed house here. And I believe most of them are here for this. Nina, would you like to say a few words?
Oh, wow.
I didn't mean to put you on the spot. You don't have to. I'm giving you free PR on camera.
Well, I would like to say, one, that on behalf of the board of Sumner Hall, we have some board members here. We have Bob Ingersoll, Milford Mary, if you raise your hand, Larry Wilson, Cheryl Rawls, Carolyn Sorgy, Carolyn Brooks, Yvette Henson, forgive me, because I miss it, and other members, Alan Johnson, my dad, Leslie Rain, who's been a part of Sumner Hall from the beginning, and others that have just been a part of Sumner Hall and a part of the planning and getting ready for this wonderful exhibit that's coming up, the Smithsonian exhibit, the way we work. The beautiful thing about it, as I've said all along, is how the community has really come together. And so it's not just an exhibit that Sumner Hall holds, it's going to be countywide. And lots of activities are going on throughout the 7 weeks that we'll have the exhibit. So come next week, we will have our opening day, March 31st. You should have received invitations. And it starts at 5:30. And I forgot Barbara Foster. How could I forget Barbara in the back? So we are just getting ready for the installation that will take place next week. We will have the Smithsonian exhibit being delivered from Allegheny County. And so I think Sunday afternoon, we will be hard at work getting ready for the installation. The one other thing I wanted to mention that I think is going to be great for our community is the fact that we'll have a companion exhibit that will showcase African American history about the way we work, to talk about the free and enslaved labor in Kent County. And I think you'll be pleasantly surprised to see all the hard work that is going in. Some of George Shivers, who has collected a lot of information about the 400 plus soldiers, African American soldiers who fought in the Civil War from Kent County. So there'll be a booklet, we'll have oral histories. Some of our interviewees are here, like Mrs. Boyer, Sheba, and a couple of board members. My father's been interviewed, and so it's a wonderful project. We're also working with the high school, and they're going to have some oral histories and put together a project under the Youth Access Grant. So it's a win-win for everybody. It's a win-win for Kent, and we hope to see you next week. Did I miss anything? Oh, gosh. Okay, see, this is what happens when you put me on the spot. We have the two co-directors I'd like to really mention. Jean Wortman with the CD Star Center for American Experiences has been working hard. Carolyn Brooks again. So they are our co-directors for the project.
Did she miss anything else, you guys? I think you did very well, All right, so it's very exciting. We're one of only 5 sites in the state,
Yes, in
right?
the state, yes. And I think 11 out of the country. Carolyn's one of the 11.
Wow, that's really cool. I gotta clear my throat. All right, so I'm gonna read this proclamation to codify this. So, excuse me, Town of Chestertown proclamation, paying tribute to the workers who helped make the country and the community what it is today, and recognizing Sumner Hall, Charles Sumner Post number 25 of the Grand Army of the Republic. Whereas, since its restoration and reopening in June 2014, Sumner Hall has become a museum, an entertainment and educational space, and simultaneously a site of national importance as one of only 2 such U.S. Colored Troops Veterans Halls still standing in the United States. And whereas Sumner Hall has been chosen as one of 5 places in Maryland to host the Smithsonian Institution's traveling exhibition, The Way We Worked. And whereas, thanks to the initiative of Sumner Hall and its principal partner, Washington College's CD Star Center for the Study of the American Experience, there is a companion exhibition at Sumner Hall, The Black Labor Experience in Kent County, which illustrates this rich heritage, including stories of the founders of Sumner Hall and the 471 soldiers and sailors who served in the Civil War, contributions of free and enslaved labor since the founding of Kent County, and oral histories. And whereas the entire community is celebrating the way we worked in Kent County during the 7-week exhibition period, featuring lectures, musical performances, exhibits, and job fairs at several venues across the country. Now be it therefore proclaimed that the Mayor and Council congratulate and thank Sumner Hall for sponsoring and creating this incredible exhibition and for heightening the awareness of how this country was truly built. And be it therefore resolved that the Mayor and Council of Chestertown recognize Sumner Hall for the dedication to our community through its history and proclaim Friday, March 31st, 2017 as Honoring All Workers Day. Signed, Chris Serino, Mayor of Chestertown.
Here, here.
Congratulations, and I know a lot of hard work's gone into this. So we're all looking forward to that. It's going to be really exciting for a while. Right, Barbara?
How long is it here for?
How long, what are the exact dates? April 1st through May?
May 20th.
May 20th.
Great.
April 1st through May 20th. Go check it out. And it's really neat how you all have involved students at the high school and the college and community members. It really has been neat to see all these parties come together for a common purpose. And that's one of the neat things about winning that award. So thank you guys for all that you're doing. And that's really all for my report today. So I know you guys mostly came to see Bill Ingersoll's report. So why don't we go ahead and do the town manager's report now?
Are you saying they can leave now?
I didn't say that. I didn't actually say it.
You're welcome to go if you want to, so. I only have 3
But
things.
he's a great speaker.
I only have 3 things, Mayor. The first one is a resolution which I brought up at our last meeting, Resolution 2017, and it's just simply to reimburse from the proceeds of a future bond the expenditures made now for raising the land at the marina. This document only allows us to incur costs now that will be reimbursed later. Okay, so it's not the bond itself. It does allude to the fact that we will be borrowing under the U.S. Department of Agriculture up to $598,000 in loan funds, which I think will be matched with grant funds to the approximate same amount. But none of that has been done now. This will just let us get reimbursed for anything we spend between now and the day we jot our names on the bond. So we need to pass this so that we can incur expenses and get them reimbursed, and I'll need a motion for that. If you want the document to make the motion, do so. You have.
Well, I have to say that when I started reading this a couple of days ago, my eyes glazed over because it is written, I have to be critical, it's not Bill's fault, it's written by a bond lawyer, and I thought the American Bar Association had instructed all lawyers to write their documents in English. And it's very difficult to follow, so I came in and got a one syllable per word explanation today, and I'm now fully supportive that we should pass this resolution to permit us to borrow now for the, if I'm getting this correct, for the loan that we're expecting from the USDA for the expenses for the marina.
It's a grant.
It's a loan and a grant.
This is a loan.
Yeah,
We're expecting a grant.
This is to incur expenses that will be reimbursed in the future.
Grant, yes. Sorry.
Some entities do not allow that. Some entities, you spend the money early and you don't get it.
So is this is a commitment from?
In this document, you'll see where they committed themselves to this future act. And this is really, really important because we're underway now at the marina with activities, and we're using our college match for the first $200,000 that come from DNR in the way of waterway improvement funds. But we'll soon be through that, and we'll be doing work around the waterfront in anticipation of raising the land. Very important feature of this.
And I guess by signing this commitment, pending whatever happens with the federal budget, we're in there.
We're locked in.
Okay.
And as you'll recall from 6 months ago when we talked about the terms, this is a very, very, I think it's, there's no payback at all for the first 3 years. And then it's interest only after that, and there's no prepayment penalty, so it's just fantastic. And it's part of one of the pieces that we've put together to, totally.
Does this cover the interest that we're going to be paying while we wait for that reimbursement, though?
We won't, you mean on what we borrow? No, not for the incidentals. This is really meant to cover not major things, because it's fairly imminent that we'll go to bond, but yeah.
So
everything else that we pay right now, we have to pay first and get reimbursed. So that money is being extended already.
Okay.
Though not from something where we're paying interest. We're not borrowing from any loan fund. We're using town funds and then getting reimbursed by the state of Maryland.
Well, Sam raised a point I hadn't thought of, referring to the budget year. Are we talking about the USDA money becoming available in federal budget year FY17? In other words, before October the 1st?
Don't know.
So if we're looking at FY18, I don't know.
What, are you
I'm just
worried about
concerned
the
about
availability of
budget
funds
cuts,
and the
yeah.
President of the United States and all that?
This is the budget.
No, it's incurred.
It's already incurred?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's obligated. It says in here that
But it does say it's obligated,
Yeah.
that's true.
But we got to do it quickly anyway.
Yeah.
Right.
Let's not delay.
Well,
It's a good thing. It's a totally good thing. That's it.
All right.
I understand you. We don't start paying it back for 3 years.
Yeah.
And this is going to help us get an extended docks and
Yes.
so forth. So maybe, just maybe, the marina will be making enough money that they could pay this in.
Well, Marty, I doubt that'll ever happen.
I'm not gonna say
Don't
that,
say
but
that.
that could potentially.
It hasn't happened in the 4 years that we've had the marina, but maybe it'll happen sometime in the
We need a
future.
second for the
Are we going
motion.
to carry this as an obligation? Or this-
This is about to go. This is,
I know, I wasn't pointing
Yeah.
to this specifically. Are we going to carry this as an obligation on our cash balances?
this,
Yeah.
a future,
Yeah.
when we borrow it.
When we actually get the money.
In FY,
Yeah, I don't think there's any chance of it before the end of this fiscal year.
okay.
The Case and Bill have been working on this for 3 years.
Yeah, I know.
We've
So-
talked about this
Just trying to
a lot of
understand what
different
we're
times.
committing to.
Was there a second yet?
No.
Second.
No.
there
Okay,
Make a motion.
there's a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Next, do we have anybody here about the Imagination Library donation? Would one of you or both like to step forward? I think we've talked on the phone.
I think you just spoke over.
Yeah.
Good evening. I'm Donna Vidal. I've been teaching in Kent County since 1990. The last 6 years, I've been at the Judy Center, Garnett Elementary School, and we're here tonight to share with you about the Imagination Library.
Could you just talk into the microphone?
Oh, certainly.
Yeah,
Thought I had my teacher voice, sorry. We just wanted-
For most of us, you do.
Yeah. Just wanted to share with you about Dolly Parton Imagination Library. It is a worldwide initiative. It is a evidence-informed program, and what it does is it mails a free book to any child that registers up until their 5th birthday. So conceivably, the child who's registered before their first month of life, they would receive 60 quality books before the age of 5. There is absolutely no cost to anybody except for the program itself. What it costs for each child is $25 per year for one child, and we are looking for all of our community to come together in Kent County to support the most valuable resource we have, our children. Just a little bit of research, I won't go over a lot of it, but I'll give you some talking points that you can share. Research has shown that having books in the home is twice as important as the father's education level when it comes to success in life. The single most important factor influencing a child's early education success is an introduction of books and being read to at home prior to beginning school. And a single brief exposure to good reading material can result in a clear increase in enthusiasm for reading. And on my own personal note, I will share with you something that's going on in our schools in Kent County right now and how we can take that through the Imagination Library and take that to our very youngest learners. There's an initiative that we're doing in the schools called One Book, One School. Every child from pre-K through 5th grade in the elementary schools receives a book. We all read it as a shared reading experience together, both at home and in the classroom. And the enthusiasm that you see for reading from the very youngest to the oldest children, because they're all having that same shared reading experience, is incredible. I can't explain to you just how awesome it is to see that. If we could do that with every single child in Kent County up through the age of 5, no matter where they start their school experience, whether it be at one of our wonderful private schools, the public schools, or maybe in the future a charter school, every one of those children sitting in that kindergarten classroom for the first time will have a common experience with every other child. When that teacher holds up a book that they got from Dolly Parton Imagination, and every child in that room raises their hand and says, "I had that book at home," that's the kind of enthusiasm that the only way we can get in this county is to invest in a program such as this, because every one of our children will get that book. It has no requirements as to socioeconomic status. It does not require an extra parent activity that needs to be done. There's no homework that needs to be done. The only thing there is good, solid research that tells us that the sooner we put those books in the hands of our children, the sooner we're going to reap the benefits in our society. What is it going to cost us for an investment? Right now, we have 56 children in Chestertown enrolled, $25 a year, an investment of $1,400. We are asking to go to every town council. We're asking for everyone's support. We now have our own steering committee for Dolly Parton Imagination Library, and Rosie has gotten that spearheaded.
And we are committed to going through fundraising and to keep it growing. And our ultimate goal is in a couple of years that every child, as they're born, as part of that take-home package with the new mom, there will be Dolly Parton's face in their imagination library. Fill it out, send it in to us, and we'll be on the road to the biggest investment we'll ever have and the greatest future we're ever going to see. So I implore you, please consider supporting this initiative.
How long has this program been going on?
Dolly Parton has been doing it since either 94 or 95. She started it in Tennessee in her own hometown. Her biggest reason for starting that was her father was illiterate, and she realized that books in the home was the first thing that they needed to do.
How long has Garnett been doing this?
We have been doing it for, yeah, you can address that more.
We started here in Kent County through a grant from the Governor's Office for Children. In 2014 we started, and enrollment got up to about 300 children. It's dropped a little bit, but that grant is no longer available, and we would like to keep it going just through sheer local willpower.
So that's my primary question. Why has the local management board, which I understand is now known as Kent County Family and Community Partnerships, why have they suspended their funding for this program?
Governor Hogan has identified 4 priorities that does not specifically target early childhood education or literacy efforts.
My understanding is the focus is still on families and children.
Yes, but we are
Somehow this
focusing-
doesn't fit.
Unfortunately.
It fits as a certain, but across the state, these programs, it's no longer, LMBs, local management boards, we're looking to identify gaps and identify programs that we can spearhead and get excitement around. And if they work, we look for other resources, other partners to keep them going. We're not necessarily meant to commit the specific programming for, forever.
Have you been before the county commissioners?
We will definitely be there in May.
They're next.
Yes, because their budget cycle, May is.
Don't go tomorrow night, they canceled their meeting for tomorrow night.
Oh, I know.
Well, our budget cycle starts in May too, but, so, to
So we've
me,
also
I mean,
approached
I'm
Millington and
all,
Hall.
believe me, in favor of reading and helping our children with this, but to me, this is a county responsibility. And, I mean, I'd like to think that all the other incorporated towns were going to come along, but you're asking us to cover 100% of the funding for the children in Chestertown. Who's going to cover the children that don't live in an incorporated town?
The county commission.
You hope.
And private businesses, and the Friends of the Library, and parents that are willing to donate, and everyone that we will be knocking
And
on.
what's Dolly Parton's contribution?
She runs the entire administrative. She only charges for the shipping and the cost of the actual
Because
book.
I've seen news stories. I mean, it's a great program.
Yeah.
I don't want to be critical of the program. It's just,
I normally am a very frugal person and don't like to spend any of our money on where it's not going, but if we could get a kid to read a book rather than watch television or look at that little tiny screen they have in their hand or play those dumb TV or video games, then I'm all for it. I mean, if you can get them reading, I can't see where we could turn down $5 per kid, so,
it's $25 per
we're
child.
at $25.
For the entire year.
I still think it's and I like the idea that everybody gets them. It's just, you don't have to go in there with your income tax and say, look, I don't make enough money or something, or whatever, or I make too much money, or whatever it may be.
The parents have to apply.
We're really just asking for everyone.
But you don't ask for income on that
No.
application.
There's no application. Well, they can actually sign up
They
online,
enroll,
or,
sorry.
yeah.
They
All they
enroll.
need is the address, the child's date of
So,
birth.
no, it's not a means test.
I was reading in kindergarten, and I really think, as dumb as I am, it was a step up for me to get to where I am, so.
Self-effacing.
The way you guys...
I never improved any from kindergarten, but I was reading in kindergarten.
Marty.
The way you guys came about our figure is you took the number of kids in Chestertown and multiplied that by $25.
No, what we did was take
That's
who's
what it is.
already enrolled. This would only be, what we're asking for right now is just who's already enrolled. We will then have to continue this and not just expect each town council to support. Our ultimate goal is to have 100% of our children.
We have a database of every child in Kent County who's enrolled, And so I went through all the Chestertown addresses and compared that to the street list
Yeah.
of Chestertown proper. So we've invested a good deal amount of time.
What's the
trying to organize this.
total budget for the whole program?
About
Like
$6,000 a year for the whole county.
So you have to
So
be...
once you sign a kid up, you have to make sure that you are fundraising consistently because you have to guarantee that that kid will be able to receive books the entire 5 years of their life or the time that they're enrolled in the program. But it's spending...
I want to support this program. I think it's a great program. It would be nice if like the county did like a match, like, hey, this is a countywide program, we're in it for $3,000, divide up all the kids by the towns, and we match whatever the county gives. Because I do feel like we get a lot of requests here that are really better suited for the county. They have like a $40 million budget, and we have a $3.5 million budget, so.
That's our full intention, is to knock on every door. And
I mean,
everyone-
$6,000 compared to
Everyone
$40
needs
million.
to do just a little bit of their part, what they can. If
Right,
the
right,
town of
right.
Chestertown decides that they can't fund all 56 children that belong to the town of Chestertown, then we will take whatever you're willing to offer.
I think we'll definitely support it. I don't know at what level everybody's comfortable.
We gotta decide today.
When you go before the commissioners, mention tax differential, and tell them we'd like to have it back, and we'll be more than happy.
Actually, when we go in front of the commissioners, we almost did it tonight, but Rosie wasn't here yet, and I couldn't reach to put her up there, but we have Dolly with us, and so next time we'll bring
Oh,
Dolly.
they'll love it.
And you can all have your picture taken with Dolly, because that has been the biggest draw. When I have an event...
Like a cardboard doll?
Oh, she's even
Or a
better
video
than that.
doll.
She's just...
Blow up. Sorry.
Life size.
So this is something that we technically can't decide on like at.
We're
this
going to
meeting.
decide it in our budget process. We're going
Right.
to,
I think we'll support you at some level, and I think we just need to think on it. And it would be nice if the county stepped up, and then we could make, it'd be nice if we could have their figure and come up with our figure based on their figure.
Well, we'd
But
be
either
willing
way.
to come back next month.
I'm serious about that tax differential, though. We'd be glad to give them the money if they'd come up with 100,000 we used to
See,
get
now
from
this
them.
is stuff that doesn't relate to you,
But
but
I think it's also important to keep in mind that this is a really simple way to say Chestertown supports our
yeah,
children.
definitely.
And with a very minimal investment,
four
you can say that we support all of our kids here in town.
Well, I want to tell you too that you're welcome to apply for a permit to have a table in the farmer's market when the weather gets better.
That's also part of our
I don't, you're not considered a nonprofit, are you?
Actually, we, Midshore Community Foundation is our fiscal agency, yes.
Okay, so you'll fit right into the nonprofit section of the farmer's market. And you have a lot of people going through the market once it starts up. You know, they're-
We
they're-
had
they
that on
have-
our
But then
agenda.
we're gonna have
Sorry.
more kids enrolled and there's gonna be more kids in Chestertown signed up.
So anyway, I mean, you're welcome to apply for a permit and go to the farmer's market. I have an issue too, if LMB, what, I can never remember the new name.
Call it LMD.
Yeah, if they have anything to do with it, I personally want to know that they are funding programs in Kent County and not sending money out of Kent County to Talbot County.
I'm the director of LMD, so we could.
I have an issue with that. I have a past issue with that.
Okay.
Simply because it put one of our businesses out of business, and I'll be glad to talk to you about that later, but when you present your report to the county commissioners, I'm hoping that all the money will stay in Kent County.
About Imagination Library or?
No, the whole LMD project.
I can't imagine Talbot County is so much wealthier than we
I
are.
know.
We're doing sending
I don't
in
want to
money.
get into it here, but
Thank you guys so
I
much.
have an issue with
Thank
that.
you.
We'll definitely support you. We'll definitely support you. All right, what else, Bill?
the last thing I have is just, it really requires a simple answer. That you have the budget schedule, and you don't even have to tell me tonight, but we always have that workshop meeting, and I just want to make sure that that date that we have is okay with the council.
It's not, Bill, I'll be out of the country that day.
All right.
And Linda was also hoping that we could start a little earlier. And I'd like to propose that we meet for an hour to, I guess it would be an hour and a half, actually, before our April 24th meeting. Is that too soon?
Well, I'll let you know. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, we should have a rough budget by then. April 24th.
Yeah, or the next one,
When
what
do
would
you-
that be, the 31st?
When would you
What
want?
day of the week is April the
I
20th?
It's a
understand. you wanna-
Monday, we would have a meeting that night anyway, so we'd just come earlier.
Come at 6.
Yeah.
So that's a preliminary workshop, right? Well, okay, so you want the May 4th preliminary budget workshop to be April 24th?
Yeah, I think, or you propose another date, but I can't be there May
No,
4th.
that's a,
And somebody else
what day
couldn't
can't you be there? The
May
8th?
4th.
The 4th is our regular meeting, so you're not going to be there for our regular meeting?
That's not a Monday, May
4th
4th is not a Monday, it's
Oh,
a
is that-
Thursday.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Also, April 24th, we don't have a mayor and council meeting.
Correct.
Oh, it's the in-between one, that's why I picked it, yeah, it's the in-between
So
one.
you want to start earlier, so we'll
Start earlier.
we'll rework it and bring
Yeah.
it back then.
Because 4 days between getting the preliminary budget and having the big detailed workshop isn't very long anyway.
Yeah, well, the reason why we usually have that on Thursday is we go over stuff and then we
Yeah.
put it together, and there's still time to change it all the way through June. But
Right.
we'll get together, I'll get together with Anna and we'll see.
Well, May 4th doesn't just...
April
Is
24th?
it April 24th a Thursday?
No, April
it's-
24th is a
Monday.
Monday, but it's
Monday.
not a meeting Monday.
You want to have
I got a calendar
an
ready.
hour and a half, 2-hour meeting, then we're going to have a
No,
council
no,
meeting?
no,
and
it's
then-
not a council meeting
not a
night, I'm
council
sorry,
meeting
it's the
night.
in-between.
You want to have it's a preliminary town budget workshop that you want to have, right?
Yes.
The 24th. So it's okay
Yes.
to meet on another Monday,
Yeah,
okay? We'll just make it a meeting about that.
Can we do it at 7?
We can
Sure.
do it at 6. We can
7.
7, I want to be
So
able to
that-
eat.
Just so the public can't
Well, we
really
should
find us or get there, we can do it early.
He didn't actually say that.
7 o'clock on April 24th?
I don't have my calendar, so I can't tell you.
But, well, you can get back and we'll redo this.
Are we, that's a go on that?
That's good for
Well,
me. Why don't you email
I
us
don't have anything
and
on
see
my
if it works?
calendar. You better
that's why it
send
says
something out.
draft on here.
Or it could be the first, well, the first is a town council meeting, but that's not good.
Okay. Well, we'll start with that. Anything else? That's the end of my report.
All right, that brings us to ward reports. Why don't we start with you tonight, Liz Gross?
I have nothing to report specifically from Ward 1.
Perfect. Linda?
Okay.
Oh, boy. She's got a list, I can tell.
No, I don't have a long list. I have had complaints about the cost of picking up the brush, and I have to agree that I think $40 is too much money. When these people are taxpayers, when they're paying property taxes, and $40 is a lot of money.
What are they getting picked up for $40?
The branches that fell off all the trees in the windstorm, and how you determine whether it's a half a truckload or a full truckload, and when they're not even hauling it 100 feet.
Well, I think with a cost like that, we
I
check
think
the
40,
pile.
I think $40 is too
We're getting,
much, I
we
really
get
do.
mountain, well, maybe we should show you at some point, before we pick it up, what people call it.
I saw some of the piles.
Yeah, okay. Well,
It's not, just to be clear though, it's not $40 for every pile. It's
no,
based on the size
It has
of the
to be a
pile.
very large pile. And, no, people haven't liked it, that there's a fee for it, but we find...
$20 isn't bad, but $40, that's a lot of money. You know,
I think we look at every one,
when
don't
they're
we, Jen?
already
Yes.
paying property taxes,
Okay.
just, you
I mean, I
know.
understand what you're saying, and because we get the phone calls and we get the complaints, but we also, if you see them, how many people goes into taking a large pile of, people can do a lot with a chainsaw in a weekend, so.
This-
Really, it only costs $100 to buy a chainsaw, but, and we
But
try
not
to be,
only that,
we
you know,
try to be
I've
understanding.
taken pictures, I've had to call the town, because when you want the leaves put out in the bags, they leave the bags in the road, and the bags are, you know, all over the road. I have an issue with, they make more mess picking it up, because, you know, then you've got another
Any more?
all the
Is there
sticks
more?
and stuff.
Is there
Now,
something else?
I
working?
just think $40 is too much for people to
Well,
have to
I have a
pay
question. Could we,
to have it picked
if
up.
somebody has a large pile, can we go and tell them, like, hey, if you want the town to come get this,
We do.
it's
We-
$40 before
When
they
it's-
come?
When it's $40, we have already been there, looked at the size of
Yeah.
the pile, called back in, given them a number, and told the property owner.
Bottom line, $40 is a lot of money for some people.
But it
If
might
you want them to
have been a
keep
big
their-
pile.
If they were, I know how big one of the piles was. And if
So
it
you're
was a big
disputing-
town truck, it wasn't a full truckload.
Maybe we should look at the fee schedule in the budget process.
Well, we
And-
have dump trucks and we
It's a
have
pickup truck.
regular trucks.
I know.
I tell you, I have to agree with Tom Sappington, and maybe we should get him in here.
$20, okay, but $40
There's,
is a lot of money.
okay. We'll hold the next one in your ward that we call $40. and
I
we'll drive-
know,
and
my
we'll drive you
neighbor
there.
got a
And it-
$40.
Oh, it was your
No.
neighbor?
Yes.
Okay, I get it.
And I know how big the pile was, because the tree fell in between our 2 yards. But anyway,
I'm sorry.
I'm still on a volunteer campaign. This is gonna be my, my swan song from now on. We have so many events in Chestertown, and they all need volunteers, and anybody who writes me a letter, I'm going to respond and ask for volunteers. And we have picked up new volunteers. I sent some names to Barbara, and we've gotten some new volunteers at the Historical Society. Anybody in the audience who wants to volunteer for the Tea Party Festival, we can still use volunteers. And I think the Artisans Market is gearing up to start, if the weather's good, in April or the 1st of May.
All right.
And, one more thing, the house on Washington Avenue that's for sale appeared in the Washingtonian magazine, and it was advertised as, if you want to come to Chestertown for a day trip and find a house for much less than $500,000.
Cool.
So, yeah,
The Washingtonian's actually one of our biggest
I love it.
web importers to our town website. So
I love it, because I love to do the, when they list all the $1 million condos and everything that's for sale, you can do a virtual,
yeah,
tour through the house.
yeah, a lot of people are discovering Chestertown from that magazine, which is
Yeah.
pretty nice.
It's online.
With Ward 3, working closely with the Recreation Commission as well as the Washington Park Committee on rolling out a new neighborhood park. So we're very excited about that. We'll be moving forward with Phase 1. When the weather warms up, that is going to be things that we already have on hand, a swing set and the old benches from Fountain Park. So after Phase 1, Case thought that this was a good project for community parks and playground grants, so we're going to be submitting for that. And the next phase will hopefully include a walking path, as well as several trees, and then relocating and then repaving the basketball court. So pretty excited about that development. So the neighborhood is very excited also. So that's what's been on the books, and that's all I have to report for Ward 3.
Go.
Go.
Okay. The mayor didn't mention it, but on March the 9th, he had the mayor's business meeting upstairs in the town hall. We had 50 plus at
At
least, I
least, yeah,
think.
very well attended.
Linda was there, and I was there, and Kay kind of helped run the show. They told us what they wanted, and we told them what we could probably afford to do. We'll meet someplace in the middle there, I guess, but it's always interesting, and every business wants their business taken care of, but, maybe the other guys don't need it, but we'll see what happens. And on Wednesday, May the 15th, the COG meeting, COG, for those who are interested, or even if you're not interested, I'm going to tell you, it's the Council of Governments, it's the 5 municipalities. We meet once a month, and discuss mutual problems, and we're going to do something that I think that needs to be done. Liz did some research on this, and again, Kate showed up with the research she did. We have a number of places throughout this county who rent out rooms in their house and pay no room tax. And while I don't know that I have any in my ward, I have two of the biggest hotels, and they all pay their room tax. The room tax primarily in this county goes for bringing tourists to the town. And so they get a payback if they pay their room tax. And it's not hard to do. It all came about because one of the bed and breakfasts who do pay their taxes wrote a letter to the editor of the Baltimore Sun and explained that it's not a hard thing to do. You just fill out a piece of paper and you send the money to the county, and the county now gives us 100%. For a long time, how much they give us, Bill? 25%?
60%.
They used to always give us 60.
Yeah.
Well, now they give us 100%, which is kind of nice. 100 is always better than 60. But the point being, there's a couple of bills in the legislature. We don't know whether they're going to pass or not. But I honestly believe that if the county would reach out to those people, they would probably go ahead and start paying their tax, and then we could pay our salary. Right now, we're giving our IOUs, and we should like to have a little money. And that's it for Ward 4, other than the same old thing, you know, the sawing out, we get in holes, but they're being taken care of.
All right. Item 9, requests for the public to be on the agenda. We didn't have any this evening. Are there any questions or comments from the audience? All right.
A move to adjourn.
All right, there's a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
I wanted to get that in before somebody spoke up.
Yeah, it sounded like there's some rumbling.